So hello guys and welcome back to Equi-Edge Research. In the last couple of videos we were trying to decode memos written by Howard Marks and the memo is known as Nobody Knows. So basically we are going to move in the next chapter of the memo and the chapter name is Trump Tariff. Now let us try to decode what Howard wants to say in the chapter. So basically what Howard says is Donald Trump's administration is quite uncertain. It is literally impossible or unpredictable of the actions that Donald Trump is going to take next. He never sticks or is consistent to one ideology. See, if we take an example, if we try to understand it with other presidents, Donald Trump is completely different from other presidents. If we talk about other presidents and the ruling party, each party that comes into the ruling power has a specific ideology or specific thought process based on which they take actions. Sometimes there is high chances or high probability that we can predict what the next action could be. But in the case of Donald Trump, it's totally unpredictable. We all knew since 1986 he was shouting to people about how US was treated in the global trades. We all knew that Trump was going to impose tariffs, but none of us were able to predict the magnitude of imposing of tariffs on the other states. The impact of the economy and world at large was totally unpredictable. What Howard says is, in that particular point of time, we were totally were in a position of taking large scale decisions. Despite of they didn't had analogous experiences, they didn't had facts, and what left with them was just speculation, because there were no such presidents that came in states or no other analogous experiences that were recorded of such presidents in the past. What he says is economists and future predictors had certain type of theories or analytical tools, but he says that no analytical tool or theory can completely predict or can be totally certain of what the next move could be. What he says is when one deals with future, he creates forecasts. But forecast isn't enough. He additionally need a sense of probability of your forecast to be right. Not all the forecasts are created equal, and also there is no probability or likelihood of all the forecasts that are created to be true. Maximum, they don't tend to be true. Because of large number of unknowns involved in the current matter, which has potential to turn out the biggest economic development or biggest declining of economic development. So basically, we never knew that it was the deception point. Maybe it was a pivot point from where the things could have changed massively. What he says is, what he derives is, this means if we insist to achieve certainty or even confidence as precondition for taking actions, we will be left out being in the state of inaction. ये शायद इरफान खान ने ये मूवी में एक डायलॉग बोला था कि अगर आप आपके घर से बाहर गाड़ी निकलना चाहते हैं तो क्या आप शहर के सभी सिग्नल्स को ग्रीन होने का वेट करेंगे या फिर आप निकल पड़ेंगे और आप वेट करेंगे कि जब आपके सामने वाला सिग्नल रेड से ग्रीन हो जाए. बिकॉज अगर आप ये कहते हैं कि शहर की सारी लाइटें जब ग्रीन हो जाए तब मैं एक्शन लूँगा, तो आप लाइफ में अपनी गाड़ी के राज से बाहर कभी नहीं निकाल पाएंगे. And if we conclude we have reached decision or achieved certainty with confidence as precondition, we will probably be mistaken. Make decisions in absence of confidence and uncertainty. So guys, let us move to the next chapter, which is known as Making Investments. So basically, if we try to recap some points from the last chapter, that was from Trump tariffs, we understood that taking decisions with confidence or having 100% of certainty that we think we have and we made a decision, there is lot of probability for us to be wrong. Decisions should never be made with 100% confidence and certainty. Make decisions in absence of confidence and certainty. But we also have to bear in mind that not taking action or not to act isn't the opposite of taking action, but is an act in itself. The decision to not to act, to leave portfolio unchanged without making modifications, should be scrutinized as critically as to make decisions for modification. बेसिकली हार्वर्ड यहाँ पे कहना चाह रहे हैं कि हम किसी चीज़ को ना करें, ये केवल करने का अपोजिट नहीं है, लेकिन ना करना भी एक पर्टिकुलर एक्ट है, और इसको उतने ही शिद्दत से और उतने ही वेल मैनर से स्क्रूटिनाइज किया जाना चाहिए जितना हम तब करते हैं जब हम पोर्टफोलियो को मॉडिफाई करने का सोचते हैं. There is a saying, a refuge for terrifying investors, which is known as never catch a falling knife. Let's wait till the dust settles down. Let us not invest, let the uncertainties get resolved. You know, fact, guys, uncertainties, they never resolve. And when we feel the percentage of uncertainty has went some down, that is not really the time to invest. We should always invest in the dip where things are uncertain, and when the uncertainty gets resolved, that is the time when we need to book our profits. Because when the time is certain, the retail players goes to the market and have a buy. And that is the time when the prices of stocks increases. It is rightly said, when the time comes to buy, you won't want to buy it. The negative developments that make for greatest price declines are terrifying and they discourage buying. If we talk about Howard Marks, in the previous chapters that we talk about of 2008 crisis, when the market was really falling steep down and the valuations of the companies were just getting sucked. You know, most of the retailers, they never thought of buying in that dip, but most of the best investors, including Howard Marks, made huge investments in that dip. You know, it is a human psychology that you don't want to buy when the market is raining with unfortunate movements and the valuations, but that is the time when you get valuations of the company that you like has really intrinsic value. You get the valuations way cheaper than that what you have thought, which has potential to turn around upside and give you potential gains. But most of the time people don't buy in the dip. They wait for confirmations, they wait for uncertainties to get resolved, but they never get resolved. मतलब ये कहना चाह रहे हैं कि जब मार्केट जो है ना वो भयानक है ना, जब वो गिरा हुआ है, वो सबसे बेस्ट टाइम है जब आपको बाइंग करनी चाहिए. वॉरेन बफे ऑल्सो सेड, when everyone is greedy, don't buy, stay silent. Be greedy when everyone sells, when everyone is panicked, and that is the time of panic. Lastly, given Trump's tactical focus, it is important to bear in mind everything is subject to change. It shouldn't surprise if he extracts concessions and declares victory, or if he responds to the retaliations of other countries. Basically what he's saying is that uncertainties are always going to happen, and like we understood in the last chapter about the Trump's tariff, Donald Trump's administration is quite uncertain. There is no chance of having a pre existing ideology which helps us to predict. And so he gave it a matter of revisits of revisions again and again tactfully. We cannot know when the Trump is going to make other countries sit on the negotiation table and negotiate with them and win at negotiations and declares victory. Or what can happen is totally opposite to it, about responding to the retaliations. Badla lega shayad from other countries. By escalating further, when he was sitting on a Friday with bunch of people in Canada, which was the best time, he told his friends that he would make a huge bet on whether the people can predict what could be the tariff rates after 3 months without knowing even what people think about the value would be. This was the chapter.